So the Liberator rocket mass heater
exciting.
is a UL listed rocket mass heater, and so you can go buy it. And if you're in a place that has like codes and you have insurance, you can go buy this and run it. Now it is a 4-inch system, and it does have a ceramic fiber core.
Yeah.
And when you it also has a pellet hopper.
Yes, a gravity-fed, non-mechanized pellet hopper. Right. So unlike the other hoppers, in pellet stoves out there, which you have to plug in, and then they have an auger that runs and feeds it, Sky came up with a clever solution where, it hourglasses essentially pellets down in at a particular rate. Yeah.
So I gotta say, this is the first time I've met this guy. Love this guy.
Yes.
So often you meet somebody who's got a product and they can only tell you about the 4-color brochure. And it's like, but Sky, he's not that way. He's got to tell you about the downsides and the upsides of his design, and how he has improved the design, and what new downsides that design has, as well as all the upsides that it has. He can't stop himself. He is a scientist.
Absolutely. And it is wonderful to see somebody with a product who really understands the product, and also can talk about, I had to do this for the UL listing. It would be better to do it this way.
Yeah.
It would be more efficient. It would be cheaper, et cetera, all of these things. But to get the UL listing, this is the trade-off.
Yeah.
And, hey, they're trade-offs, and that's okay. But it's amazing, because what is that? It shows up. You take it out of the box. You put it in place. You connect the tube. Done.
Yeah. I understand the full install time of the Liberator was like under 5 minutes.
Yeah. And that includes carrying it in from outside, And this is going to have huge appeal to people who love the idea of the efficiency of these things, and yet can't quite get over the aesthetic problem of having a 55-gallon drum in the room.
This does not have a 55-gallon drum. It is clearly a fabricated thing top to bottom.
Yeah.
Clearly professionally made.
Yes.
Clearly a manufactured thing from a factory. Now one of the things is that it seems like it performs best when it doesn't have a mass. And that's because it's a 4-inch system.
Yes.
But now, right out of the box, it will heat your home with 1/3 the wood. And so that's where he's at right now. The reason why we put on this event, the reason why we even came up with the idea for this event years ago, let's bring a whole bunch of rocket mass heater geeks together, and then they start sharing information back and forth, and then we have all this cross-pollination of knowledge. And I'm hoping that by bringing brains together that do know this, that their brains leave here a little bit more infected, and things tend to move forward a bit. There used to be stuff where we did a lot of philosophizing, and I like our format now where it's like everything's a build, and let's build the things and see and find out, because it's one thing to speculate, it's another thing to try it out.
Yeah, talk is cheap, action is a lot more valuable.
So, and especially if you got a testometer in hand, your best number here was 84. It's kind of like. If we go to measure other things and we get numbers that are bigger than 90 for everything else, I think it's reason enough for that to move on.
How's it looking? Are we ready to pull it apart or cool it down? Or
it's cooling down now.
Cool down, pull it apart. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, I can go ahead and leave the rocket heater here for as long as you need to test it for however long you like. I think the numbers will be comparable, if not better, to the cottage rocket. I don't think it's going to be quite as good as Peter Vanderberg's, but it's a much smaller unit. It's a 5x5 core.
Okay, 5x5 core, and I've heard that you now have some ceramic fiber paneling on the inside.
Yeah. It is an insulated unit. It's not as well insulated as obviously big fire bricks.
I know, but I mean, you're trying to get UL listed, and you're trying to get something that'll ship,
Right.
And so having it be lean is important. Plus, with a 4-inch wood feed, your temperatures aren't going to get up so high.
Right.
But it's kind of you want it to get high enough that you're burning all that extra smoke and stuff. So if somebody moves from a conventional wood stove to a Liberator rocket mass heater, do you have a rough idea of how much less wood they would use?
I would say at least half the amount.
At least half. And then have you been hooking those up to masses very often?
We have. It's actually, so it is UL tested from certain.
Yeah.
And it is EPA approved. And it is tested to UL standards in such a way that allows people to integrate it in the thermal mounts by code.
That's
That's something
lovely.
that-
And I saw that it has a manifold, which
Yes.
is something I rarely see in the shippable variety. Oh. What kind of number do you think we're going to see for the Liberator for efficiency here?
I think we're going to see between 76 and 84.
All right, so you're thinking it's going to be on par for what this is right now.
For the efficiency, yes. But what I can say is that our CO is going to be lower. Our O2 is going to be comparable, if not higher. Our CO2 is going to be higher, which is actually good. And our extra air is going to be lower as well.
Okay. I think that the big thing that I need, and that I'm not getting satisfaction with this, is that when I walk down the hill and that thing's running, I want to see less smoke.
You're not going to see any smoke.
That's what I need.
That much I can assure you.
That's probably right up there at the tippy top.
We tested the Liberator all winter. It performed exactly as advertised. I think if you have a home and you're keen on burning pellets, you'd be very happy with this. It'll heat your home with about 1/3 the pellets. And, in a pinch, you can burn full-length firewood. But this is an outdoor shop. With a home, you're probably running a fire to warm your space about 5 degrees more than when you started. And if it takes an hour or two to do that, that's fine. Our wood shop space needs to jump from 20 degrees to 65 degrees, hopefully in less than half an hour. So, we put the Liberator into a space that we use a lot in order to really learn a lot about it. And to be fair to this device, we should have put it in a living space. And we should have tried it with some wood pellets, although I prefer using standard firewood. I think most people would be very happy with using it in their home, usually with pellets. The really exciting thing to come out of all of this is the massive exchange of information between Mr. Huddleston and our other rocket mass heater people. I get the impression that there'll soon be a new Liberator rocket heater that has a lot of improvements based on this information exchange.